Welcome to Eugene, Oregon, and the NCAA Softball Regionals presented by Capital One. The sun is shining, the players are smiling because the postseason is here. And the first game of the Eugene Regional at Jane Sanders Stadium is the St. Mary's College Gales, the champions of the West Coast Conference, by a good margin against the Mississippi State Bulldogs out of the SEC. These two teams were in the same regional 2 years ago, but did not play. And our second game tonight, which will be about 10 Eastern on ESPN2, Idaho State, the champions of the Big Sky, and the number 14 national seed, the Oregon Ducks, out of the Big Ten. We are so glad to welcome you here, the first of 6, maybe 7 games here this weekend. Mike Cousins and Kenzie Fowler along with you. St. Mary's having their best season ever this year as they're in the NCAA tournament for the third time. And Mississippi State, a prolific pitching team. They may not score a lot of runs, but they're darn good at preventing them.
Look, this is a season across our sport. We have been talking about the offense and the record-breaking home runs that are being hit across the country. But I love the fact that we get to lead off our regional with some pitching highlights because these two are not just two of the best in the SEC conference. These are two of the best pitchers in the nation. Peja Gold and Alyssa Faircloth, two mid-major transfers that just came into Mississippi State betting on themselves, and it has been so much fun watching them pitch and get it done in different ways. You have the spin from Peja, the senior, and the speed and the curveball from Alyssa Faircloth. They have been so fun to watch, just a strikeout duo for Mississippi State.
Gould came from Chattanooga, Faircloth from Troy. 2 years ago, Hannah Ferguson helped propel the Gales to the postseason. This year, she's hoping they'll pick up their first NCAA tournament win.
Yeah, you want to talk about speed and power and the combination of the two. It's Hannah Ferguson. This is the heart and soul of this offense. She'll be at the top of the lineup. How about 10 triples? She is fun to watch on base paths.
It's going to be a showdown in the circle. Maybe first to 2 runs could win this game. Mississippi State and St. Mary's lineups and first pitch are on the way. Season, it's time to get there. Welcome back to Jane Sanders Stadium. The Bob is rocking out in center field. Peja Gould has not let any offense rock against her this year. The senior from Stockton, California, first-year transfer from Chattanooga, has taken the SEC by storm, and now we'll try and do that against the rest of the country.
Yeah, she has been one of my favorite pitchers to follow, and I just think her story, right, the Chattanooga mid-major transfer, has 1 year to go, and betting on herself going to Mississippi State, and she is so much fun to watch because she is a tough prep. You're going to see a lot of different speeds, and she's not going to bring the velocity, but she's going to bring the spin, and it's why you see a lot of weak contact because of that spin rate that she throws with.
And here is the St. Mary's starting lineup, brought to you by Capital One with Camille Lara at the top. We showed you Hannah Ferguson just moments ago, and Sam Buckley led the team with 11 home runs this year. 3 times all West Coast Conference first team this year and each of the last 2 years. She was the WCC Freshman of the Year just a couple of years ago. So this is a lineup that is not fazed by facing this level of competition. Kinsey, a couple of years ago when they played in regionals at Stanford, it was a situation where it was just the second time that the program had ever been to the NCAA tournament. They said they were happy to be there. Now they're not just happy to be here, they're ready to win.
I also think it's so unique, right? You and I were at that regional, and both Mississippi State and St. Mary's were in the regional, did not face one another. And so here we are again. I wonder if the scouting reports might be a little outdated and you have to update them. And you know that you're going into prepping every single team in a regional, but we did not get this matchup.
Well, one of the challenges for hitters and perhaps for umpires too, you don't think about this all too often with Gould in the circle, how much movement she has on her pitches and finding where those cross the plate, especially on the X-axis.
Just trying to find that strike zone on the outer half, working that backdoor curve.
Laura, such a good eye at the plate, and she takes outside ball 4. So some understandable frustration for Peja Gould, who's used to hitting her spots. And Camille Lara, who's just drawn her 21st walk of the season. That was the second best on the team during the regular season, is aboard.
This is something that Lara has done very well as of late, is just be a patient presence at the top of the lineup. Because this is the hitter that St. Mary's needs to have runners on base for.
First strike of the night starts off Hannah Ferguson, the redshirt junior from San Diego, hitting an absurd .422. All West Coast Conference first team this year, and comes into the postseason on a 12-game hitting streak. Now, it's not the case for Mississippi State is certainly true for the top of the lineup for St. Mary's. They will look for opportunities to run on Peja Gould. Slow chopper, third base. And Nadia Barbary gets Ferguson by a step. She's their fastest player. She goes up the first base line, and it moves Lara into scoring position with 1 out for Sam Buckley.
Yeah, productive out from Ferguson. A hitter that doesn't strike out a lot, so you know there's going to be contact. And with the speed of Lara advancing over 60 feet into scoring position.
Called strike to Buckley, starts her off. Now it's definitely a step up in competition from the WCC, going up against one of the best pitching teams out of the SEC, but the schedule that they put together this year for St. Mary's gave them opportunities to face really strong pitching earlier in the season. Talking about it yesterday with them, they said the best pitchers they faced this year, Sidney Peters from Texas A&M and Morgan Reimer from the University of Washington. 0-2, deep right center field. Keller retreating. Goodbye! Sam Buckley's 12th home run of the year is a dugout emptier. And 3 batters into the game, it's St. Mary's with a 2-0 lead over Mississippi State.
What a swing with 2 strikes. Sam Buckley has the most power in this offense for St. Mary's, without a doubt. Of course, first base is open. I just think this is too sweet of a pitch with 2 strikes. Look at how she goes down to get this and just lets her barrel roll. Buckley has a big leg kick. There's a lot of power in that swing. Just a strong athlete, but with 2 strikes, that was way too around the heart of the plate for a hitter of the caliber of Sam Buckley.
The dugout is abuzz with the early lead for the champs of the WCC, who come in winners of 11 of their last 13. Braxton Brown is the batter, quickly down 0-2. And not only did they win the WCC, but they won it by 4 games. Just really left everybody else in the dust. Things have gone well for the Gales this year when they do put runs on the board ahead of their opponent. 35 times they've done it, and 31 times they've emerged as the victors. Gould got ahead 0-2, worked back to 2-2 against Brown, and she grounds out 2 away to bring up Alex Cudinelli.
Nice response from Gould. And that is the result that we're so used to seeing hitters off of Paige Gould, that weak contact off of the end of the bat, mixing her 3 different speeds. Look, she's not going to throw higher than 64, 65. That's where she tops out, and it's not something that she throws every single pitch. A pitch like that, her curveball's 58, 59. And also will throw her changeup in the low 50s. So you're just going to see a lot of weak contact, trying to find those corners.
Cudinelli gets one off the end of the bat and drops it into center field for a base hit. The junior who grew up just about 45 minutes east of their campus in Moraga, California in the East Bay. Gives St. Mary's their 3rd base runner of the inning.
Just off the end of the bat, curveball that you just get your bat to, hope something good happens. Short center field. And she'll take it, a little 2-out rally.
So at least a 6-batter first inning. The freshman catcher, Andrea De La Rosa, goes right back up the middle on the ground. 2 on, 2 out. And already a 2-0 St. Mary's lead.
We're going to see a quick timeout defensively for Mississippi State because these are good at-bats from St. Mary's. We've seen a little bit of everything. Obviously, the highlight, the 2-run home run from Buckley, but then back-to-back base hits in different ways. Aggressive early in the count.
Kenzie, how much do you think the first plate appearance of the game from Camille Lara, she draws a walk on 4 pitches, has impacted the way that Gould has pitched to subsequent hitters of trying to get her pitches that she can land on the strike zone, she wants you to chase out of the strike zone? Is she coming back and getting too much of the plate with these last 2 batters?
A little bit, and also maybe throwing through your spin because your heart rate is just a little bit more elevated, right? When you lead the game off with a walk, it's not how you want to start the game. So as a pitcher, you're a little bit uncomfortable, and that heart rate goes up. You throw through your spin, and then you have a very aggressive St. Mary's team that's ready to go.
The inning continues for Tori Cervantes, the center fielder. His curveball starts her off for strike 1. Cervantes, now a senior, played her first 2 years at short and her 2nd season as their everyday center fielder. Last year hit a career best .315. This year she's battled a back injury. Regular season at .280. Just underneath that. 1 and 2. Two years ago, both of these teams were in the Stanford Regional, didn't square off. Mississippi State was the number 2 seed that year. But the Gales were eliminated in just 2 games, falling to the top seed Stanford and to the number 3 seed Cal State Fullerton. So 0-4 in their NCAA tournament history and off to a great start here today. Cervantes stays alive.
There is something to be said about, making it the first time in a very long time it had been for St. Mary's in 2024, and so we're back. And now the expectation is we want more.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gould gets the strikeout, but St. Mary's gets on the board. Sam Buckley's 12th long ball of the year, a no-doubter.
What a swing here from the junior. One of the best bats in the West Coast Conference, showing up early in the first.
Seasons home run, 30th of her career, and she just became the program's all-time home run leader. Setting things up nicely for the 2026 West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year, and that's the senior Odie Vasquez.
Yeah, this is someone that I've enjoyed watching over her career. Has so much intensity. She's an emotional pitcher. Her team feeds off of her, and she brings it. Has good velocity, 65, 66 miles an hour. The righty, but she's really going to work that arm side, and it's going to be all about the rise ball. She can climb the ladder, and she is a competitor.
Kiara Sells, the senior, waiting her time in the cleanup spot. Her first 2 seasons had just 10 at-bats and then has really turned it on over the last couple of years. This is a team that average-wise was 14th in the SEC. Out of 15 teams, they were also second to last in on-base and in slugging. First pitch swinging, Morgan Stiles with a laser to center field. Tori Cervantes a couple steps to the alleyway, and it's 1 pitch and 1 out for Odie Vasquez. Vasquez, career low, 2.36 ERA, and her second most innings throughout her career. It was a joy to talk to her yesterday. As locked in as she is right now, she's as loosey-goosey when she's with her teammates when it's not a game day. And she is ready to go and working with a lead here against Zayan Romero, the second baseman. Sophomore out of Lake Elsinore. In the final series of the regular season against the University of Mississippi and in the SEC tournament in their 2 games, she got moved up to the 3 spot. And now here batting second for the Bulldogs to start the NCAA tournament. A couple of tweaks that Mississippi State has made in this lineup, trying to find any new combination permutation that will produce more offense.
Yeah, I've been very interested to see how this Bulldog lineup produces, right? It's a new season. You get out of SEC, you have the ability to take a breath. You don't know where you're going. Selection Sunday happens, and obviously the storyline for Mississippi State, everyone knows it, is that they have been struggling as of late offensively. And so can this new start be a positive for your team? Maybe you shift the lineup a little bit. Maybe you do a little bit something different in the week. Switch up practice a little bit. But it is not a secret that this team needs to score runs because their pitching, although they have given up 2 runs here in the first, has been so stellar.
And with Romero moving up in the lineup, Kinley Keller has as well, the freshman center fielder who hit 9th a little bit down the stretch. He's hitting 5th in the lineup today here in game 1. But they've actually hit Keller anywhere 5 through 9 throughout the course of the regular season. For a team that was picked 11th in the 15-team SEC. 3-1, right field, and Ferguson makes the grab. 2 up, 2 down for Vasquez.
And you're going to see a lot of balls in the air off of Odie Vasquez. She has that upspin, that rise ball. And, you know, just looking through this lineup for Mississippi State, only 1 left-handed batter. So a lot of righties, and that plays into Vasquez, who likes to attack the arm side, the inner half. That's a tough pitch against those power bats, going in tight with the spin.
Bases are empty for Nadia Barbary, the only player on this roster who has hit a home run in the NCAA tournament. Barbary this year, 2nd team All-SEC for the 2nd straight year. And the best slugging percentage in their 24 SEC games. Her power elevated this year. There's Vasquez working in on the hands, missing 2-0.
Yeah, typically she'll start lower in the zone with that rise ball, and then as she gets strikes throughout the count, she has the ability to move it up. So falling behind here, that rise ball just a little bit too high.
Vasquez comes back for a strike after falling behind 3-0. Struck out a career high 141 batters this year, more than a batter per inning. She was named Pitcher of the Year in the WCC for the second time in 3 seasons. Barbary lifts it to left field. Camille Lara's got a beat on it, and it's a 1-2-3 first inning for Odie Vasquez and St. Mary's. Looking for their first NCAA tournament win. They're clear of Mississippi State 2-0 at the end of 1.
Season.
Our hosts here, the Oregon Ducks at Jane Sanders Stadium, went to the Women's College World Series a year ago, and they host in back-to-back seasons for the first time in almost a decade. They'll play later on tonight around 10 Eastern against Idaho State. Here our first game at St. Mary's out of the West Coast Conference with a 2-0 lead over Mississippi State out of the SEC. Peja Gould is back to work in the circle against 8-9-1 in this St. Mary's lineup. Bit of a rough first inning for Gould, who issued a 4-pitch walk to start. 2 batters later, gave up that home run out to straightaway center field. So Taylor Lane, the first baseman, leading things off. Fouls it back for strike 1. Gould in the circle is no stranger to high expectations. 2 times at Chattanooga was the SoCon Pitcher of the Year. And while she was there in Tennessee's Scenic City, and it is if you've ever been, not quite as hilly as Eugene, but it's got its ups and downs. An ERA of 2.28 with the Mocs. Bloop to first. Paige Ernstis leans in and retires Taylor Lane. Sonia Garnett just inked a contract extension, a 6-year extension this week after she took over a program in 2019 that hadn't had a winning season for 7 years. She was the WCC Coach of the Year 2 years ago when she took them to the Stanford Regional, and once again this year. She came from Division II Academy of Art after 4 seasons there and played at San Francisco State, an All-American and All-Conference pitcher in the class of 2006.
I remember it was fun talking to her and, getting her team back to the NCAA tournament back in 2024. And, she was saying this is an amazing opportunity. We are so excited to be here, but I want this to be the norm for St. Mary's. And so an off season, or an off year, if you will, last year, and right back to it. And so many of the same pieces are on this roster.
Foul ball, 2-2. And so for them, it's been a group conversation about making it to Sunday, that they feel like they're on a mission and that their belief in themselves is elevated from that 2024 experience. And it feels different too, because going from Moraga to Stanford, that's a commute. That's not a road trip necessarily. Strike 3 called as Gould gets her second strikeout, first looking. So to be able to go somewhere new, somewhere different, makes this experience feel different also for the Gales.
Now you could tell it was a one year we want to enjoy this experience. This year it's we want to win this experience and advance.
Lara on the ground. Gould back to form. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Opening round of the NCAA softball tournament. We start the weekend with 64 teams, and by the time the weekend is done, there will be just 16 remaining for next weekend's Super Regional round. Oregon will play later on tonight. They are the host team here in Eugene. They'll meet Idaho State later on. Winners of both of these games will square off tomorrow, and the losers in the double elimination format will face a win or go home game tomorrow. Mike Cousins, Kenzie Fowler with you here in Eugene. And a 2-0 lead for St. Mary's, courtesy of Sam Buckley, the third baseman for St. Mary's. Their 12th home run of the season, a 2-run blast off of Peja Gould and her WCC teammate, pitcher of the year in the league, Odie Vasquez, retired Mississippi State. 1-2-3 in the first inning. So the cleanup spot comes up here for the Bulldogs as Kiara Sells and her team leading 14 home runs dig in from the right side. Kiara was telling us yesterday about how she got one call from a Division I school, and it was the summer before her senior season, from Mississippi State, and how those first 2 years when she only came to the plate 10 times were difficult for her, but it was worthwhile to be able to wait that time. And last year hit .351 with 11 home runs. This year .352 and 14 that have left the yard. So it's been a good combination for the Bulldogs of players who have helped build the program and other ones who have helped elevate it, especially their two aces in the circle transferring in this year.
Now, all coming from different parts of the world, and of course the transfers, or you know, the carousels who walked on, but the theme of it all is betting on yourself and putting your head down and going to work, and then the results happening later. But I think it's such a good story worth telling, whether you want to use Kiana Sells or use Peja Gould or Alyssa Faircloth to tell that story. Because these athletes, we were talking to them yesterday, and all of these athletes had one thing in common. They did not get a call September 1st of their junior year, which is the day that everyone talks about. It's that day you're finally able to talk to coaches for the first time. Your recruiting process really starts that day. And for so many athletes, you know, that are listening out there or that will have that moment, you know, look at what Sells is doing. Batting in the 4-hole for an SEC team, was originally a walk-on, didn't have any offers, but said, I want to go here and I will prove to you that I can make this lineup. Give me a couple of years in your program.
She's fouled away a couple high and away. Doesn't go after the chase pitch, and it's 3-2. I don't know if your reaction was similar to mine, Kenzie, of hearing those stories yesterday from multiple players. And it was almost awe, I think, was my predominant feeling of that. It was incredible how far those players had come when, like you said, it can be a really exciting day, that September 1st date. Swing and a miss. First strikeout for Odie Vasquez. On away here in the second inning to go, all right, I'm going to prove people wrong. And you didn't want me then. And now look where I've ended up.
Yeah, and it was fun because they could all share that story together and kind of laugh about it now, but it's a collective. I felt what you have felt, and we're going to be on this field together, and we're going to work for what we want. I just think it's so good to hear because these are Power 4 stars on this Mississippi State team, that their journey did not start that way.
Like Mike Jones. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot, they all want me. That was not the case for Kinley Keller, the freshman who's taken over in center field, started 29 games during the regular season. In fact, Mississippi State was the first official visit she took. She's in the car on the way home to New Braunfels, Texas with Dad, and goes, Dad, that's it. That's where I'm going. And credit to Dad, supportive of that, where I think some parents would go, well, you know, you should probably take the other visits, right, see what's out there. He goes, no, I got your back 100%. And within a week, she was committed to Mississippi State and now has become a centerpiece of their defense.
A similar story to Peja Gould when she took her transfer visit to Mississippi State. She said, I walked right on campus and it felt like home right away. So credit to Coach Ricketts and the culture that she brings for these athletes.
Cudinelli with her first try at second base makes it 5 in a row retired by Vasquez to start it. Well, it's the 12th year overall on staff, 7th as head coach for Samantha Ricketts, the native of San Jose, California. Played for Patty Gasso at Oklahoma, class of 2009. Learned really how to become a coach under Patty Gasso as a GA for 2 years, and just 4 years ago took Mississippi State to their first Super Regionals. They hosted against Arizona after eliminating the #2 national seed Florida State. And beware in Tallahassee, the upset capital of the softball world today. And now has this team in the postseason once again, and with one more win, Mississippi State will tie their highest win total under Samantha Ricketts. They'd get to 39. So they continue to find a way, trying to find a way on base right now. Morgan Bernardini, the left fielder, in the 6th spot, as the count 1-1 against her. Bernardini from a real small town in Illinois, out of Elkville, that in the last census had 838 people. She never played on a softball team that had more than 13 people on it in high school.
And you only need 9.
Depends how funky you want to be with the lineup. Maybe you need 10.
Well, in middle school, I remember there being 10 because they gave us a rover, extra position there in middle school. little throwback if anybody else had a rover in middle school.
Gonna need more of a follow-up on that. The 1-2. Oh, good. Now we got at least one more pitch for you to explain what you're talking about.
The rover is between second base and center field. It's just like the middleman between the shortstop, second baseman, and the center field.
That's very Thursday night rec league softball.
Well, yeah. You get 10 players defensively in middle school. You got to have someone playing the rover. And I always wanted to play the rover. I never got to. I was always pitching, and then when I wasn't pitching, I was at shortstop. And I was like, can I just go out there? It looks really fun.
Oh, sorry. I was too good playing the most important positions. I couldn't go be the rover.
Let me play rover. We see so many shifts now with all the data that we have in our sport. Sometimes you'll see players kind of venture out to that rover area.
Did it have to be in that one spot, or could you put the rover anywhere?
No, you could. It had to be, shallow center field.
But you're right. It's not out of the question that you'll see 5 infielders at some point this weekend.
Yep.
Vasquez has gone into some deep counts. Hasn't allowed a base runner. Looking for a second strikeout. And it'll be at least one more pitch here for Bernardini.
Well, one pitch that Vasquez does not throw a lot of is her changeup. You see a lot of curveballs, and of course that rise ball. That's her dominant pitch. It's her strikeout pitch. A lot of foul balls here. Would be set up perfectly for an off speed.
Payoff pitch, got her. She freezes Bernardini. Second strikeout of the inning. 1-2-3 again.
The WCC Pitcher of the Year. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Backdoor curve. Got her looking.
Jane Sanders Stadium is the site of this regional here in Eugene, Oregon. 2-0 St. Mary's as we go to the third. My cousin's Kenzie Fowler with you. Later on tonight will be Idaho State and Oregon, the 4-1 here in this bracket. Oregon, the number 14 overall national seed. So second time through the lineup for Peja Gould, who faced 7 batters in the first, gave up a 2-run homer, and then responded with a 1-2-3 second inning. Comes way up and in and gets a piece of Hannah Ferguson. And now she's got trouble brewing on the base paths, just 1 pitch into the third for Ferguson, who's stolen 21 bases this year.
Laughing about it a little bit, but wore it well. It's just one of those things, right-handed pitcher, you want to spin a curveball in the inner half, and if it gets away from you, well, it's going right into that hitter.
So with a little bit of trouble in the circle in a game that feels like you need to win it, even though you don't, it's double elimination. The Mississippi State bullpen now, Kenzie, has been active 2 innings in a row. You know, you don't want to go with the sports cliche of it's a must-win game, because it's literally not. But if you go down 0-1, there's no more room for error.
And kind of interesting, I don't see Alyssa Faircloth. One of those ace 1, ace 2, the duo between Gold and Faircloth. It has been the 1-2 punch all season long, and so saw Delaney Everett and Layla Amon getting loose down there.
Gold's behind 2-1 to Buckley. Comes back, gets the corner, 2-2. Sam Buckley's career, even though she's just a junior, has been phenomenal. She was one of 25 finalists for NCAA Freshman of the Year 2 years ago and won Conference Freshman of the Year. Last year hit .402 and set 3 different offensive program records and has gotten even better this year.
You can tell the respect. Mississippi State back-to-back off-speed pitches from Peja Gold to Buckley.
She got her to pop it up. Des Rivera, former Oregon State catcher, makes the grab. She's got World Series experience from back in 2022. One of their other portal additions behind the plate puts away Buckley for a big first out.
It was a fun story to hear about Coach Ricketts recruiting Des Rivera and talking about the needs that Mississippi State felt they needed over the summer. It was in the circle and behind the plate. And so she said, we need a catcher. And I need to look at who's available in the portal and saw that Des Rivera's name popped up. Said she watched a couple of pitches of film and said, that's it.
Well, a tough break for the Bulldogs. The second best fielding percentage in the country this year. And Barbary giving it her best effort, inadvertently stymieing Styles with a chance to get it that short.
And the veteran, the senior, Nadia Barbary, maybe just going a little bit too far to her left. You just have to have that pre-pitch communication, because that was an easy ground ball for Morgan Styles right behind her to field.
And now the staff out to chat with Hannah Ferguson after her slide into second base. And just to make sure that she's okay. She's at the top of your screen there, going into second base. Oh, just a little bit of an awkward slide there, and the left ankle bending in as she hit the bag.
Well, the last thing that St. Mary's is wanting, I'm sure they're holding their breath, is an injury to Hannah Ferguson, who has been injury riddled in her career.
Yeah, we'll save for that foot just falling off. She's not coming out of the game. Not in the postseason. They're trying to win their first NCAA tournament game in 5 tries. Ferguson missed all of last year, multiple injuries. First it was her wrist, and then as she was coming back from that first practice, she tears the ulnar collateral ligament in her right arm and has to have Tommy John surgery and ended up missing the entire year. Chopper to short. This is a clean one for Styles. Her flip to second. It's a fielder's choice to get the second out of the inning. As Brown is eliminated off the base paths, and the Gales have first and third for Andrea De La Rosa, the freshman catcher. De La Rosa during the regular season only started 12 games, only played in 17, and split time with Avery Prescott behind the plate. But they said her bat really heated up toward the end of the regular season, and so she's taken control of that position. And Alex Cudinelli is taking control of the base paths. On the throw back to the circle, she just sprinted from first to second, and now a base hit could be a 2-run production for St. Mary's.
Just a delayed steal. Big swing and a miss. And so you see the throw back, and it's on the throw.
Boy, that is heads-up play. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gould comes back and extinguishes the threat. 2 stranded for the Gales, but they still have a 2-0 lead. Mississippi State looking for its first base run.
Each stacked with a lineup worthy of the spotlight. The AUSL on ESPN. This is legendary.
One of the coolest moments, or I should say 17 of the coolest moments this year in college softball were the golden tickets that got handed out. We'll talk more about that in our evening game here in Eugene, Oregon, when the Oregon Ducks take on the Bengals of Idaho State. St. Mary's raising eyebrows around the softball world right now with a 2-0 lead on a 2-run blast in the first from Sam Buckley. And Odie Vasquez against this Bulldogs lineup has gone 6 up, 6 down with a pair of strikeouts. Seven, 8, 9 in the lineup starts with Paige Ernstis, the sophomore from New Palestine, Indiana. The 3rd player ever from the Hoosier State to suit up in the white, maroon, and black. Goes after the first pitch, and on 3 hops, Alex Cudinelli retires her. So 2 times now in 3 innings, the first batter has swung at the first pitch and been retired. After Des Rivera playing in her 10th NCAA tournament game, her previous 9 as a part of Oregon State's run to Oklahoma City back in 2022.
It's kind of interesting. Des Rivera was a freshman, of course, on that Women's College World Series team, and one of her teammates, Frankie Hamoudi, is the hitting coach in the other dugout for St. Mary's. Her 2 teammates for 2 years at Oregon State.
Coach Moody, as they call her, graduated in the class of 2023, and when she graduated, she left as the Beavers' all-time home run leader. So that's a huge pickup for St. Mary's, and she's got the G Unit shirt on. By the way, my bones almost crumbled to dust yesterday. How old I felt when we saw that. We're talking to every team yesterday. They're the Gales, so the G is for Gales, G Unit. And I was thinking of the hip-hop musical group that was founded in 2001, a la Mr. Half Dollar, 50 Cent himself, Lloyd Banks, Tony Yayo. The list goes on and on. I mean, it's not as big as D12 was. That was a dozen people, led by Eminem. But I said, well, surely you guys know who this is. They go, it was a musical group? And I think I just evaporated to dust at that point.
I think you did. I watched it happen in
I
lifetime.
Joined it. Yeah, I collected Social Security in that moment.
And I think it was the coaches for St. Mary's that put the shirts together, so that would track.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What I really wanted to say was G-Unit, but it wouldn't have transferred. They wouldn't have gotten the reference.
All right, we're here in game one. I do appreciate the rap education, though. You tried to educate them lightly yesterday.
I did. Maybe they went to Spotify, or maybe they went to try to go to Spotify, and they looked at the new logo that Spotify has updated with, and they said, is my app broken? It's been a big point of contention for me.
We talked about it for like 5 minutes before the game. You were distraught.
1-2 to Greta Grasso, the 9-hitter. Stroke to right, directly at Ferguson. Inning over. Great start for Odie Vasquez. No stranger to the postseason. 9 up, 9 down. Mississippi State head coach Samantha Ricketts will join us on the headset when we come back. As the head coach of the Bulldogs, Samantha Ricketts now joins us. Next time we see your lineup, it's going to be the second time through, starting with Morgan Stiles. What type of adjustments will you want to see from your hitters in that second time through?
Yeah, I think just making sure we're committing to the plan. I thought we did a good job in the first inning with our first 3 hitters, and then kind of got away from it and just started being a little bit too passive and letting her get ahead. So I think we just need to attack in our zone and our plan from the start with this next time through.
And obviously your senior getting the start in the circle, adjustment after the first inning. What are you seeing from her? And also, what has she brought to your team this season?
Yeah, I think she just settled in. You could see the first just wasn't really hitting her spots and not just the Peja that we're used to. And now I think she's settled and she's letting the ball move a little bit, and just love the mentality she brings and the confidence. And she's just been a great leader for us all year long, and just knowing that she's going to keep us in this game and give our offense a chance to get going here.
Well, Coach, thank you. And we thank Pony for its appearance, too, over your shoulder.
Always. Hail State.
That is Pony, one of the I guess, ad hoc mascots for the Bulldogs this year, which we were told to make note is a unicorn named Pony.
Correct. Don't get it twisted. A unicorn named Pony that, you know, appeared in the fall when the team was doing their end of fall season challenge, if you will.
Talent show.
Yeah, talent show, skit competition.
Long fly ball foul from Tori Cervantes to start the 4th.
And Alyssa Faircloth was the one that brought Pony to their skit. The juniors were using some hobby horses, and so Pony just stuck. He's been with them all season long.
Cervantes with a foul ball, 0-2. So the hobby horsing thing came from, I think, like an aside, just a sarcastic joke that then turned into each class doing its own different talent show thing. And so hobby horsing was one of them. There was the winners were the senior class for Mississippi State with a 1980s aerobics dance-themed presentation, judged by the coaches and the support staff. And that is one of the best parts about coming to the NCAA tournament is you get 4 teams, 4 different conferences, 4 all varying stories of how they all arrived here and the things that brought them together throughout the course of the season. That's a very close call there at first base from Tori Cervantes. Bang, bang, and the Gales are thinking about this one, and here comes Sonia Garrett. She wants a review on that.
Live, I thought safe.
Jim Bertuzzi is our home plate umpire here for game 1.
St. Mary's is challenging the out call at first base. The play is under further review.
Umpiring crew today is Jim Bertuzzi at home, Marty Abazishian at first, Naomi Erdahl at second, and Todd Foy at third base.
Well, Cervantes is the center fielder for St. Mary's, so she's got some speed even though she's coming from the right side. Yeah, she's safe.
And the ball has to be in the webbing of the glove in order for the batter runner to be called out. And it certainly appears in slow motion and in live action that she beat that throw to the bag.
Yeah, it's got to be in the back of the mitt. So just because the ball is at the front of the mitt, it's got to be a full catch in the back of the mitt.
So all of the replays here will go to Central Replay Review, which is in Pittsburgh, and it'll get relayed back to the umpires here in Eugene, and then we'll get the call relayed to us. Cervantes struck out back in the first inning. Seems like, to the naked eye, a good challenge from Sonia Garnett.
Right there. Yep.
Foot
That's
down.
the look. I'm going safe.
Ball not completely in the webbing of the glove.
Yeah, I'm overturning this.
You're very powerful.
Thank you.
Didn't know that. Mike Cousins, Kenzie Fowler with you here in game 1 of this Eugene Regional. A 2-0 St. Mary's lead, and it came just 3 batters into the game. Sam Buckley with her 12th home run of the year, the all-time home runs leader for St. Mary's as they play in their 5th NCAA tournament game. They've had some tough draws going to the NCAA tournament. In 2010, that was their first appearance. They got sent to UCLA, and then 2 years ago got sent to Stanford, where they had to square off against Nyjah Kennedy and the Stanford Cardinal before she made her move to Lubbock, Texas, now in her 2nd and final year. They are pitching for Jerry Glasgow and the Red Raiders. Mississippi State, if you're just joining us, against Odie Vasquez, the starting pitcher for St. Mary's, who's a 2-time conference pitcher of the year. They have not had a runner reach base yet. So the call has been handed down. It'll either be 1 out and nobody on, or a runner at first. Tori Cervantes for St. Mary's.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The runner is out. That is St. Mary's first challenge. They have 1 remaining.
So I suppose that'll be a lack of indisputable video evidence to overturn the call on the field. So Cervantes is retired on a bang-bang play, even after a well-scrutinized replay review.
All right.
But I think a good time to use that challenge as well.
Absolutely.
Because it could turn the inning. You get the leadoff runner on, and it can totally change the mentality of the pitcher. For Gould, who has not been her usual self today. 3 strikeouts thus far. Bulldogs have had the bullpen firing in each of the last 2 innings. But now she retires the leadoff batter. 2 times in 4 innings she's done that. Got Taylor Lane on a weak flare to first base in her first plate appearance of the day. Gould's next pitch will be her 55th. And for the Northern California native, she told us that coming out of high school, the one thing that she knew was that she did not want to stay in California for college softball. And she didn't get any calls on September 1st of her junior year. That's the first time that you could be contacted. And ended up with just one offer. That was from Chattanooga, where she ended up. But to show you how persistent she was, she said, I emailed like 400 schools, none of them in California, just to see if anybody would take a shot on me. That's strikeout number 4 for the senior from Stockton, California.
Well, and it's funny because, you know, a couple of years later, she enters the transfer portal and she says, my phone was very busy. Like, I was getting a lot of phone calls. So just the contrast of how it was for her junior season in high school, not getting a lot of those calls, not getting those emails back, and then going to work at Chattanooga, you enter the portal and everybody wants you.
Sonia Garnett having a conversation just up the third base line with 2 out, and the number 9 hitter Mia Zabat coming up. I really appreciated it, and I thought it was a perspective beyond her years from Peja Gould, talking about the experience and how she harbors no ill will toward anybody. She regrets nothing about the experience that she had at Chattanooga, and said, I love the people there, I love the city, I love the school, and the journey wouldn't be the same perhaps if it hadn't gone that way in terms of appreciating where she is now for one last year.
Yeah, she seemed so at peace with everything, and you love that for a senior. I mean, this is a pitcher that we will see compete with the AUSL this summer. She was one of those golden ticket recipients. Everything has just been a fairy tale for her this season. That was great. She said, I wouldn't change the journey for anything.
'60th pitch leads to strikeout number 5, and she's got another 1-2-3 inning.
2 strikeouts in the inning. The first one on the drop ball. This is on the curve ball. This is her bread and butter. Watch this ball just dance out of the strike zone.
Confetti rains, nets are cut, joy erupts, hardware is hoisted. History happens here on ESPN, home of NCAA championships.
And we're less than 2 weeks away from the start of the Women's College World Series on the ESPN networks. Day number 1, though, here of the Eugene Regional. And it's St. Mary's out of the West Coast Conference with a 2-0 lead over Mississippi State from the SEC. Bottom of the 4th inning, top of the order coming up here for Mississippi State. Kenzie, as they look for their first base runner, and they're going to have to make some adjustments here against Odie Vasquez, who has struck out 2 batters out of the first 9.
Yeah, Vasquez has done a really nice job getting ahead early in counts. And now you're talking about the information in the dugout. Of course, everyone is scouting everyone going into regionals. You're watching so much film. You're watching it on the plane if you need to. But there's nothing like being in the box and feeling what you're seeing. And so I'm sure Mississippi State talking about adjustments, hitter to hitter, inning to inning. And so this is where we start to watch those adjustments start to come into action. One thing I would be talking about if I was in that dugout for Mississippi State is we have not seen an off-speed pitch from Vasquez. So you're looking one speed. Just pick a part of the plate and get so aggressive early in the count. When you can eliminate an off-speed pitch as a hitter, it is a great feeling.
This has been already a longer plate appearance for Styles than it was in the first inning, where she saw one pitch, hit it hard, but lined out to Tori Cervantes in center field.
It's a good take and a hitter's count.
She's their team's active leader in NCAA tournament hits with 8 from a freshman season a year ago. As a team this year in the SEC, Mississippi State hit .274, second to last. Their run production was third to last. And the two teams that finished behind them, Kentucky and Missouri, did not reach the NCAA tournament by virtue of not finishing with better than a 500 record. 3-2 pitch is a called strike 3. A gem of a pitch from Odie Vasquez for her third strikeout. 10 up, 10 down.
Just so impressive for the senior to not give up in this at-bat, falling behind in the count 3-1, then coming back with the inside corner. And this is too close to take if you're Morgan Styles. She's been swinging at that pitch prior on that inner half. The couple of pitches before it, she was fouling them off and decides to take that. Yes, it's a little bit down, but that's way too close to take.
Well, it's rough to toss the bat thinking you're going to first and then going back to the third base dugout and picking up the bat that you left there 5 seconds ago.
Well, let me tell you, as a pitcher, no better feeling. Just no better feeling, especially coming back in that at bat the way that she did.
Is there any feeling in post softball life that rivals that? Like you find a good pull through spot at the grocery store on a crowded Sunday afternoon.
All right, maybe, yeah.
Got it, yes.
No, I'm still looking for the adrenaline rush that you get with the ball in your hand and someone staring you down in the box. It's just, there's nothing like it.
I was wondering why you keep going skydiving. Thought it was a little weird.
Not for me. No, we're not. No. Life endangered, no thank you.
So the pitcher who learned how to pitch by watching YouTube videos right now is shutting down Mississippi State. It's the 11th batter of the game, Zion Romero, 0 for 1 with a fly out to right. And they have not had a batter reach. She's been relentless, attacking the inside part of the plate, not afraid to come inside.
And to me, for Mississippi State, you see that. I'm going to cheat back a little bit, and I'm going to look first or second pitch, and I'm getting my hack off. And we have seen a lot of takes from the Bulldog hitters. It's one of those things where you can just sell out on one side of the plate.
Part of the reason Romero's up in the lineup, she's hitting .346 her last 10. She goes chasing into the left-handed batter's box, and that's the 4th strikeout back-to-back now for Vasquez.
And this is exactly how you want it to be set up. You're going in. You get a hitter very uncomfortable, and it opens up the outer half. So 3 straight pitches on the inner half. I'm going to go curveball away, and you could see how uncomfortable Romero was in that swing.
Nadia Barbary gives Mississippi State a great chance to get something going. Team leader in average and slugging during 24 SEC games this year. Everybody's ducking down into the Mississippi State dugout. Everybody's all right. Wedge that one there. 2 balls, 1 strike on Barbary. And coming up next half inning, when we go to the top of the 5th inning, we'll be joined by Sonia Garnett, now a 2-time West Coast Conference Coach of the Year. Her Gales holding on to a 2-0 lead here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The winner of this game faces the winner of Game 2 tonight here in Eugene, which is Idaho State against the host Oregon. So Mississippi State hasn't had to worry about an off-speed pitch. Now the question will be, is it a tall rise or something in around knee high? Vasquez with a 3-1 to Barbary. And this is lifted out toward left. Lara chasing, and it is gone! The first hit of the night for Mississippi State is a solo home run for Nadia Barbary. The lead is sliced in half. It's the Gales 2 and the Bulldogs 1.
And it's the senior leading the way, which is how it should be. Second time through the lineup. We've been talking about the adjustments that Mississippi State needs to make against Odie Vasquez. And it's selling out on a pitch on the inner half. And so what does Nadia Barbary do? She gets herself into a hitter's count, a 2-1 count. And you could tell that she was just green light go on this zone. Watch the eyes just get big, the barrel drops, and a little bat toss, because that was a no-doubter. And big time life. I feel like we can all just see and visually see the exhale from that dugout, right? Had been no hit until that swing, and plus it's a run on the board, and now we're back in it. Good senior moment for Barbary.
The only player on that roster still who's hit a home run in the NCAA tournament. And perhaps Vasquez got a little bit too comfortable, Kenzie, coming back to that same pitch looking for a strikeout. And like you said, Barbary sold out on that.
And that's where the cat and mouse will start to happen. If I see a hitter adjusting pitch to pitch, or a hitter that's maybe more off of the plate like Barbary was. I mean, she was off of the plate saying, beat me inside. I'm ready for it. As a pitcher, I'm going to see that, and I'm going to counter to the outer half. And the great news for Vasquez is she has the ability to be very comfortable in her curveball on the outer half. Yes, the arm side, the inner half is where it's her sweet spot. It's where she's very dominant. Gets a lot of her strikeouts on that inner half to right-handed hitters, but she's very comfortable going away as well.
Bullpen working, the sophomore Ella Thurman, the freshman Madeline Hahn pitching for St. Mary's.
And so back-to-back right there to Sells, both curveballs on the outer half.
No doubt they'd make a pitching change if they needed to, but there's also no question that Odie Vasquez is the one who will deliver them to victory if that's how this game ends. Still early though, and a 2-1 lead And another strikeout. So she gets 3 strikeouts, but also gives up the home run. Nadia Barbary with her 13th of the year makes it a 2-1 game.
A little bit of life for Mississippi State offensively. This team needs to get going. A solo shot from Nadia Barbary, a no-doubter. Bulldogs are on the board.
NCAA Softball Regionals presented by Capital One. Here at Jane Sanders Stadium in Eugene, Oregon, our first game of the weekend, and it's a 2-1 lead for the St. Mary's Gales over Mississippi State. Sonia Garnett is the head coach of the Gales. Well, just 3 batters into the game, you guys got a great spark. You got a great hat as well. That's a sartorial flair, no doubt. What was the energy like in the dugout, when nerves are high after Sam hits that home run 3 batters into the game?
I think we relaxed a little bit, took a deep breath, and I think we're getting a little bit out of ourselves right now. We need to get back into the zone and play pitch to pitch.
Well, I know we're all business here, but I have to ask about the hat. Is this a new thing, or is this a hat that you guys have worn before?
This is brand new, just made today.
Made today out of cups, I'm guessing?
Cups and duct tape.
Okay, great. Quick question, just what are you seeing out of Odie in the circle? And she's doing really well, 5 strikeouts. What are you seeing from her?
She's dialed in. I think she's hitting her pitches really well. She made one mistake, and they're going to capitalize on that, so we just got to stay consistent and work ahead.
Thanks, Sonia.
Thank you.
Made today? Wow.
School might be out, but the creativity never wanes from that first base dugout.
Like, that is an immaculate hat.
It's great craftsmanship, built to last.
It has the color sections, very traffic cone-esque.
Makes me really excited for the release of Hocus Pocus 3.
Okay, is that in development? Is that a
Yes.
thing? It is, great. I really enjoyed Hocus Pocus too.
Well, we found one. Ball 1 to start off the 5th inning as Camille Lara leads off here for St. Mary's. They are 0-4 in their NCAA tournament history. 2010 got sent to UCLA, and then 2 years ago went to Stanford for regionals. So really what this boils down to, if you're going to summarize the first 4 innings, one big mistake for each pitcher.
And the difference was a leadoff walk to Lara.
On just 4 pitches that started the game. St. Mary's winning 40 games this year. not just impressive as a standalone item, but also because they're the first program at that school to reach 40 wins since the baseball team did it back in 1977. All for a school with an undergraduate population in the neighborhood of 2,000 students. Backdoor curve does not hit. And so Lara takes her second walk. Well, earlier this season, if the team felt like the energy was low, they took a shock to the system in the form of citrus. Lemons. We've heard about orange slices, but lemons are the way that St. Mary's has gone. They've now got keychains to memorialize this tradition as well, and they are all in on a sour bite middle of the game.
It was so fun to learn about the lemons. The team really wanted us to make sure that we were aware that they would be eating lemons in the middle of the game. So we were like, okay, tell us more. And so they said that Coach Garnett and the rest of the coaching staff saw a video of West Virginia women's basketball eating lemons before the team intros. And so they said, let's try it. Why not? And it just so happens that when they tried the mid-game lemons, they were in Colorado and they went on a 10-1 run, including wins over Stanford, wins over Washington. And so, of course, in sports and softball, when you're trying new things and you're winning, it's going to stick. And so, of course, the lemons are still with us.
Yeah, you can't drop something when you start winning like that. But 2 walks allowed by Peja Gould. Both of them have been to Camille Lara. I've been a little bit surprised that we haven't seen them too aggressive on the base pass. Alex Cudinelli did steal one on a delayed steal back in the third. Bunt is foul for Hannah Ferguson. Well, we are at one of 16 sites around the country, so if you don't want to miss a minute of the action here from the NCAA Softball Regionals, we'll get you to the best action everywhere on the 7 Innings Live Show. It's available on the ESPN app. Every game and every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN networks. 2-2 to the circle. Gould to Romero. And that's all they'll get, with Ferguson burning up the first base line. Fielder's choice, 1 down.
Really needed Ferguson to be a little bit more productive, a hitter that is so good at putting the bat to the ball. But it was a nice play by Peja Gould. Heads up, the senior gets that lead out.
Ferguson came in, 12-game hitting streak. She's been on base twice, but has not picked up a base hit. She got plunked in the third on a pitch that just nicked her coming inside. And here the fielder's choice. She's 0 for 2, but sets up Sam Buckley. Back in the first, hit a 2-run home run to the bleachers in center field. And goes reaching to put that ball out of play.
She was swinging big there. That was a pitch that was a ball, maybe 2 balls off of home plate. Just getting after it.
And she told us, too, that her leg kick has really helped her swing.
She's got a unique stance, too. You'll see her really wrap the bat behind her head there. You can see that left foot comes up, and talk to her about her stance. I mean, she was the West Coast Conference Freshman of the Year, and in that season, she said, my swing didn't feel perfect. I was double striding. Yes, I had a good season, but I just knew that there was more in me. And she said she went to work with Coach Hamoudi, the hitting coach, Frankie Hamoudi, and Coach Moody suggested a leg kick. Why don't you try that? That way it eliminates that double tap with your left foot. Get your foot up in the air, get your weight on your backside, kind of fall into your swing, and the power has just exploded. She said, my swing feels good. Yes, it is a little bit different. I'm a little closed off. I wrap the bat. My leg kick is high, but I feel good. It's where I need to be.
Well, that was a little bit of a loss of control there on that plate appearance for Peja Gould. She threw a curveball way out of the box for ball 3. And then ball 4 threw behind Buckley. So it's double-barreled action again in the bullpen. And A real arm to watch. Out of the bullpen there is Alyssa Faircloth, the transfer from Troy. We've got great speed on the base paths right now. Combined 37 stolen bases between Ferguson and Buckley. Braxton Brown at the plate hit 9 home runs this year. That spins away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Big opportunity here for St. Mary's. They scored those 2 in the first, stranded 2 in the third, and Brown gets to 1 and 2. But in the second and fourth innings, Gould had no problem with him. Put him down 1-2-3. So these undulations of the innings for St. Mary's. The first, the third, and now here in the fifth where they've threatened. And the 1-2 poked to right field. Sells in shallow for out number 2. Easily the biggest game of Peja Gould's career. Transferred in from Chattanooga. Immediately felt at home in Starkville. Alex Pettinelli takes a strike, and for as much pub as Hannah Ferguson and Sam Buckley get, Pettinelli, the junior, was also all-conference first team this year. She singled her first time up. 0-1 is foul ball. 0-2.
St. Mary's just trying to get to that curveball from Peja Gould, especially with 2 strikes. You have to protect. It has so much movement. See a lot of just weak foul balls to the right side from the right-handed hitters.
And you can see why with the amount of movement that she gets on it, as it tails away from right-handed hitters, how she could easily get swings and misses if you're not disciplined to hold back on it.
Yeah, the one zone that you can really eliminate is the zone that's upstairs. We're not going to see Peja really throw a true rise ball a lot.
And the inning is over on a strikeout in the dirt. She's got 6 strikeouts. She strands 2. Deficit remains 1 for the Bulldogs.
Well, the two-time WCC Pitcher of the Year, the senior, Odie Vasquez, is showing out. 5 strikeouts. There's been little trouble for her. Yes, the 1 home run, the 1 hit given up to the senior for Mississippi State, Nadia Barbary. Small blemish, but other than that, picture perfect. Taking a look at her line, she has been so stellar her entire career. Obviously a breakout star when she was a sophomore. And she's leading her team back to the NCAA tournament, looking for the first win in program history.
They've been twice before. They've lost all 4 games with the double elimination format in the NCAA tournament. In all 3 rounds here in regional, supers, and at the World Series. Just from the day she stepped on campus, she's been excellent. And played just 1 year of high school softball. Played travel ball the rest of the time. And you could really tell, you know, we talked about how St. Mary's is a small campus to begin with in terms of having 2,000 undergrads, but how she feels so supported by her teammates.
Oh, she loves her team. You know, anytime that we got to talk to her and it was her time to speak, everything out of her mouth was just, I love my team. It's for my team. And I enjoyed her frankness. She was very candid with us, saying that she did not enjoy pitching until she got to St. Mary's. And that can be a real thing for pitchers. Pitching is incredibly tough, right? It's like the old League of Their Own saying, if it was hard, you know, everyone would do it. If it was easy, everyone would do it. But the hard is what makes it great, and that's pitching. And sometimes pitching is a really lonely place to be. And so we were talking to Odie about what makes you so successful, and she said, my team. It's my teammates. They make me enjoy being a pitcher, because there were times in my life I did not like pitching.
I think that's twofold there as she gives up her first walk. So Kinley Keller is on, just the second base runner of the night for Mississippi State. But one, there's the solitary element of pitching, that everything falls on you. It's like whether you run cross country or you're a wrestler, there's the team, but it's really on your shoulders. But 2, here is Bernardini squares to bunt and pulls back. That it can be hard to do something when, you know, I think everybody has this as an adolescent. Your parents say, all right, you're going to do this. And you go, no, I don't really want to do it. But then it turns out you're pretty good at it.
Right.
And for her, it was an opportunity to realize, hey, this softball thing, this could get me a Division I scholarship. This is a big deal. But then finding the camaraderie of like-minded teammates has made all the difference in the world. That's a great grab by Sam Buckley over the shoulder. Never even the opportunity to square her shoulders, and yet never a doubt that she was going to make that catch.
Huge out, especially following the leadoff walk. We had not seen Vasquez give up a walk. She does in this inning, and an unproductive out for Mississippi State. This is an out that has got to be something on the ground, thinking right side, maybe a bunt. Great play by the home run hitter.
Yeah, in this instance, the first pitch, Bernardini squared to bunt. Mississippi State knows, as does St. Mary, this is a team that struggles to score runs. Your opportunity to get a bunt down and get a runner into scoring position with, at worst, 1 out, I think is a missed opportunity. Now you go to the bottom third of this lineup. Ernstis is a 182 hitter, Des Rivera at 260, and Greta Grassel 188. You'd be defying the odds here in the bottom third of this order to produce a run. (2-1), St. Mary's in the lead. On a Sam Buckley first inning home run. Ernstis out in front. Possible pinch hit situation Taylor Troutman is in the on-deck circle. Des Rivera started the game there in the 8th spot. 0 for 1 with a ground out.
No way.
Oh, baby in the left, foul ball in the right. That's a big Friday night. Well, you know what they say, if you catch a foul ball and there's a kid nearby, you got to give it to the kid. So, good thing he's holding a kid. Vasquez gets a foul ball down the right field line, and it's out of reach for everybody.
Here we have the replay on this. I would love to see it. We saw it live, but holding the baby in the left, the extension, and then just the crowd around him. Standing ovation because so deserved. What a catch. Incredible.
It's the extension that sold it for me.
Up on the toes, right? You're a little bit off balance. You've got to keep your balance though because you have a child in your left hand. Head on a swivel.
Well, you were talking about being a former collegiate pitcher, chasing the adrenaline in adult life.
There it is.
I think he just found it.
There it is. As if having a newborn won't do that for you.
Outside 2-2.
I think he gets to keep that ball. Right? You can't give that one back.
Right. Most parks, they're going to come and ask for the ball back.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Sports Center top 10 catch.
You got to make an exception for that guy. Great fight from Paige Ernstes. Continues to foul away pitches. St. Mary's trying for a mid-major upset here in Eugene tonight in Game 1 against Mississippi State. The day's biggest upset was in Tallahassee. Stetson defeating Florida State 8-3. Grand Canyon with a win over Louisville, and UNC Greensboro, the Spartans, with a 1-0 win over Clemson. Chopper, shortstop, between the wickets on Zabat, and Mississippi State's gonna tie the game. All the way to the wall, and Keller scores from first base. Well, the leadoff walk always hurts, but now it stings too on a ground ball that gets through Mia Zabat.
Oh, this is just heartbreaking for St. Mary's. This is a double play. You're out of the inning. You have the lead. And feet just get a little bit out of balance. She doesn't turn to her left a little bit. And whenever you're an infielder and you square the ball up, that's usually the worst place to be. It's hard to see the spin. You want to field that ball off to the side. You can also charge it. But just backpedals a little bit, and it goes under her glove, and it is off to the races.
I think equally stunned on both sides right now. Mississippi State, that the game is tied, and St. Mary's, that ball not only got past Zabat, and you can't necessarily fault the outfielders here. They're both converging, but you also expect that play is going to be made.
Well, and you see Zabat, her feet get still, and she's on her heels, and that is the worst place to be as an infielder. You want to get around that ball, and it's almost one of those things where you could feel her and see her overthink it because it was such an easy double play gift.
The Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City. Action starts Thursday, May 28th, 12 Eastern, live on ESPN. And for more information on the 2026 Women's College World Series, go to NCAA.com, the home for all NCAA championships. Perhaps Pony delivering a little bit of magic for the Bulldogs here in Eugene, Oregon. They travel more than 2,000 miles from home. Is that a lap pony on the plane? Do you need a ticket for that?
That Pony probably had a charter seat, right? Coming from Starkville. You can sit anywhere you want.
Only 30 seats on the plane, but I mean, Pony's got to be one of them.
Yeah.
So the pinch hitter here is Taylor Troutman, who had one of their biggest hits this season against Tennessee to deliver a victory for them and end Tennessee's undefeated start to the season, 26 games.
What a stop. De La Rosa, the freshman.
Abby Grace Richardson, the senior from Brookhaven, Mississippi, pinch runner at third for Paige Ernstis, and represents the go-ahead run here in the 5th inning with just 1 out.
Vasquez is really trying to stretch the plate. Left-handed hitter. And Troutman, and there has only been one other left-handed hitter in this lineup for Mississippi State. So just trying to do something, Coach Ricketts is, and make Vasquez a little bit more uncomfortable.
And getting neither the chase nor the call on the outside corner. 3-1 was tempting after all those pitches off the plate.
Yeah, you could hear someone on the Mississippi State side audibly yelling, "Turn, turn." Hitters count. And now you have to protect.
Strikeout goes a long way here if Vasquez can get it. She's got 5 of them tonight. And a 3-2 pitch turns it into number 6 and freezes Troutman.
Just such a competitor. Have the big error batter before this one, and she's not phased. Yes, you have a little timeout, you catch your breath, but just right back to it. Mississippi State trying to make the move with the big power hitting Troutman, and
Greta Grassel, first pitch, deep left center field at the wall. Cervantes saves the inning with not an inch to spare, and Torrey takes it away.
well, I know we had talked about the dad making the catch for St. Mary's in the stands, but how about Cervantes going up against the center field wall, robbing a home run, the reaction, and I loved the reaction also from Odie Vasquez in the circle, her center fielders having her back, hands up in the air. Thank you, teammate.
at the Eugene Regional at Jane Sanders Stadium. Mississippi State and St. Mary's meet for just the second time ever. And later on tonight at 10 Eastern on ESPN2 for the second time this season. Idaho State and Oregon will go head-to-head. And that first meeting, that went extra innings here in Eugene. Mike Cousins, Kenzie Fowler back with you, and what has been a really interesting game in that Mississippi State has 2 runs and 1 hit, and St. Mary's 2 runs came on 1 hit. This is a Sam Buckley 2-run homer in the first. So Andrea De La Rosa is 1 for 2, and she leads off here against Peja Gould. 6 strikeouts through 5 innings.
Yeah, just so tough for St. Mary's, right? You give up the run to tie the game, and there was not a hit in the inning.
We've seen both bullpens be active today multiple times, but I think given the stature of the pitchers in the circle, both head coaches would be reluctant to make any move. Now, it'll be easier for Mississippi State when you've got Alyssa Faircloth as your next arm up. But whenever Gould has gotten into trouble tonight, she's stranded 6. She has gotten out of trouble. She continues on a torrid pace. She got a strikeout to end the 5th, and her 7th begins the 6th inning.
She's gotten stronger as the game has gone on. A couple of times there's been some walks, losing her command a little bit, but then coming right back to it. And she's a pitcher that is very comfortable with not getting strikeouts, so of course racking them up tonight, but she's very comfortable with ground balls to her infield. A pitcher that pitches to contact, pitches to weak contact, trusts her spin because of her high spin rate. Little re-enter action defensively for the Bulldogs.
That's Tatum Silva out there in right field. And they also kept Abby Grace Richardson in the game. She was the pinch runner at third who was stranded there. She stays at first base for Paige Ernstis. Two-2 game here in the 6th. Cervantes, who made a fabulous grab out at center field, is 0 for 2. Last time up, though, it was a bang play at first base. She got thrown out on a grounder to third that Sonia Garnett challenged, and the call stood as it was adjudicated on the field. Cervantes scoops it to second and is easily put away. Peja Gould has been ready for the moment tonight. We asked her and Alyssa Faircloth, fellow transfer starting pitcher, what was the moment you knew you were ready to compete at this level? They both came from mid-major schools. Gould from Chattanooga, Faircloth from Troy. And they said it was the Tennessee series. Their first SEC series of the year. You're going in against a scary opponent. And Faircloth said, Taryn Mowat-McKinney, the pitching coach, texted her and said, "You're starting," which was, in her words, an immediate freak out. Called my dad, goes, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I thought it was going to be Peja who was starting." Gould ended up starting Saturday. And they said once they got through the first innings of those games against Tennessee, that's an historic program within the sport. You go there and the reputation precedes your arrival in Knoxville, Sherry Parker Lee Stadium, but you get through the first inning and then it just becomes softball again. Base is empty, 2 strikes, 2 out, and they'll do it again.
Well, and I talked to Coach Mowat McKinney about her dynamic duo, and she was kind of frank that it took some convincing for her to tell Alyssa Faircloth and Peja Gould, you are really good, and you are capable at pitching at this level. Like, you've got the goods, you've got everything physical. We just need you to believe it mentally.
Gould continues to show it. She struck out 8 and records her third, a 1-2-3 inning. The last out of the bottom of the 5th inning could be a game-defining play. Tori Cervantes up against the wall. Oh, as nervous as you'd be if you were in between an OR and an operating room. She was there with precision to take away what at least would have been extra bases and maybe a home run for Greta Grassel.
She had to run a far way to run that down. And then, of course, Odie Vasquez cheering her on. You see her line just pitching her heart out. The 6 strikeouts, Peja Gould, the senior for Mississippi State, up to 8. It's been limited opportunities for both teams offensively. And 2 seniors getting it done in the circle.
The game can go through a bit of a cycle right now, where it starts, nerves are high. Runs get put on the board, you settle in. And now, we're in the latter 2 innings of the game. Those nerves might return. The hands might grip the bats a little bit tighter because you know every moment could be the one that wins the game. Third time through the lineup now for the Bulldogs. Morgan Stiles has lined out to center field and struck out looking.
This is where Mississippi State needs to make their move. Top of the lineup, 3rd time through. You have all of the information. We'll love to see Vasquez run her rise ball. Go up out of the zone here.
The thoughts all over it. Styles is 0 for 3, 1 down in the Bulldogs' 6th. We got you covered from all 16 regional sites with the 7 Innings live show on the ESPN app. Every game, every big moment on the road to the Women's College World Series, only on the ESPN networks. And when we're getting ready for our games, when we're between games, that's exactly what we're watching here in the booth.
It's a great shot. You can feel a lot of Oregon fans coming in. And this is what I love about regionals, is that the fans get that bonus softball. And if you're a true diehard softball fan, like, you're coming for both games. You're getting a doubleheader in. But the crowd is definitely starting to fill up with a lot of green and a lot of yellow.
A little bit of black and orange for Idaho State as well. Fly ball right field. Ferguson is back and makes the grab. The Idaho State folks told us they'd have a good alumni contingent here too.
Yeah, they're going to stand out. That's for sure. That orange, you can't miss it.
Pocatello proud. They'll take on Oregon. It was a one-run game that went to extras. Ducks won it back in February. So a lot of time to ponder that between then and now. Bases are clear for Nadia Barbary. When she came up in the 4th inning, Odie Vasquez had not allowed a base runner. So Barbary changed that with a solo home run down the line and left. And still, that remains the only Bulldogs hit of the night. She had 2 strikes against her. Kenzie came inside, and that's exactly what Barbary thought was going to happen.
A big swing on the inner half. And Barbary stands pretty off of the plate. A little bit of an open stance, so there's a lot of room on that inner half. And it's why you're seeing Vasquez go back-to-back on the outer half. It's one of those things where, okay, you beat me on my best pitch on the inner half of the plate, but now you need to beat me on my outside stuff. Go get my curveball. Here it is again.
And Vasquez gets exactly what she wants. Sweet contact off the end of the bat. A 1-2-3 inning, on to the 7th. Tied at 2 here in the Eugene Regional Lid Lifter. It's nail-biting time here in Eugene, Oregon. It's only the first game, but it has been a gem between St. Mary's and Mississippi State. 2-2 is our score. Nadia Barbary with a home run got Mississippi State on the board. They took advantage of an error that scored a run all the way from first base and tied the game in the 5th. Pinch hitter Lauren Tran leads off here for St. Mary's in the 9 spot, where Mia Zabat had been 0 for 2 with 2 of the 8 strikeouts recorded tonight by Peja Gould. The Gales looking for a spark here in the 7th. As Gould frisbees in a curveball but does not get a strike. Her 100th pitch of the night makes it 2-0. Sonia Garnett, the Gales head coach, talking about the freshman Lauren Tran, an East Bay native. Said every time she comes up, this team expects her to get a base hit. It's even now, 2-2.
This is a very important batter for Peja Gould. Right, you get that fresh face, a hitter that you haven't seen. And to me, that was always so freeing as a pitcher. Kind of ignore the scouting report and just throw your best stuff.
She comes back, curveball, strike 3. Backdoors it. She wasn't able to locate it earlier in the at-bat and sends the freshman packing.
Watch this ball just start away, and you cannot give up on this if you're the lefty Tran. It's going to come back into the strike zone.
And that will be the day for Peja Gould. 3 times through the order, 9 strikeouts, just 1 mistake, that 2-run homer in the 1st, as she passes the baton to Alyssa Faircloth in the 7th.
Yes, the 2-run shot was issued in the 1st, but after that 1st inning, she settled in so nicely and gave us a good look at what she's done all season long for Mississippi State. This is one of the best pitchers and one of the best pitching staffs across the nation. She's a big part of that 1-2 punch, and we're going to see that other half right now with the lefty in Alyssa Faircloth.
She grew up in Northport, Alabama, right on the doorstep of Tuscaloosa. Dreamed of playing in the SEC as a high schooler. That dream did not come to fruition until this year when she transferred in from Troy, and she blew away SEC competition. She led the league in strikeouts during league play.
A little bit more velo than what we saw from Peja Gould, mid-60s, but it's going to be about the location of the curveball. Not afraid to go inside to righties, away to lefties, backdoor, just really running it both sides. And there's the changeup.
That's incredible. A jaw-dropping pitch for strike 3.
This is her best pitch. It is one of the best changeups in the nation. You see her really pack that ball in the back of her hand, and then she just flips it over. And the movement that she gets on that pitch is amazing. You cannot give up on that changeup just because you see it high in the zone. It's going to fall down.
Did you see Camille Lara's response after that?
And she couldn't believe it.
Anna Ferguson with 2 out. Faircloth even at 1-1. So the first-year transfer from Troy in the circle. She's a junior this year, 2 years in Troy, Alabama. Last year, second-team All-Sun Belt. Lowered her ERA by nearly 2 runs. And gets weak contact directly to Barbary. And even though there was a pitching change, it's still a 1-2-3 inning. 8 in a row retired between Gould and Faircloth. Mississippi State can win it, bottom 7. College Gales made a statement here in the NCAA tournament. Sam Buckley with a home run off of Peja Gould, and that leads stayed that way until the 4th inning. Mississippi State didn't have a base runner. Nada Barbary didn't have a strike to spare, and she blasted it down the left field line. And then the next inning, after a leadoff walk, Kenzie, a ball to short was not so routine.
Yeah, this was just a heartbreaker for the defense, for Odie Vasquez in the pitching circle, who has done a phenomenal job for St. Mary's, because that was a ball that should have been a double play. It goes between the legs of Zabat, and it's off to the races for Mississippi State, able to tie the game up on that ground ball.
Hard to ask for a lot more tonight from Odie Vasquez, who this year was named the West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year for the 2nd time in 3 seasons. She's allowed 1 hit, 1 earned run, struck out 6, and has been excellent with just 1 walk. So now here in the 7th, she's got to protect and start off with a very difficult hitter, Kiara Sells, who's 14 homers, led the Bulldogs this year. But Vasquez has won the first 2 battles tonight and struck out Sells twice. A very different situation here with a 2-1 lead for St. Mary's instead of trying to send this game to an 8th inning. They have never won in their previous 4 NCAA tournament games. Sells gets time, and we'll chat with Tyler Bratton down the 3rd base line. It's a bit of what we expected. Pitchers duel coming into this game. Offenses, not a lot to work with.
Yeah, just knowing who we had in the circle for this matchup, right? The West Coast Conference Pitcher of the Year, Peja Gould, Alyssa Faircloth, 2 All-American caliber arms on the other side. We were talking about it. We thought it might be a low-scoring contest.
The conversation now wrapped up for Tyler Bratton. He's a monologist, podcast host. They interview their players. Good way to get to know those Mississippi State players. 0-2. And if you ever need a jolt of energy, he is your guy. There are some folks who need caffeine in the morning to have energy. He wakes up caffeinated already. Love that. Now in your number 13 on staff there in Starkville. 2-2 bottom 7. Zabai slings it, and they get the out at first base. I really think there's going to be a thought here from Mississippi State if they'll challenge that, and there's no sense in not challenging it. Immediate hands to the ears from Samantha Ricketts. You lose it, oh well, but if you get the challenge correct, then you've got the winning run on with nobody out.
The ruling of out at first base is being challenged by Mississippi State. The play is under further review.
So it's our second replay review of the game. Both of them on plays at first base. Our first one today was leading off the 4th inning. Tori Cervantes of St. Mary's was called out at first. That play stood upon further review. So our first slow motion look at Sells up the line.
Looks
should be tidy
to be out, and live I thought out.
Yes,
but
same.
In this game I'm losing my own trust of my gut, because I was very convinced in our last video review that the call would be overturned. It was not. Definitely closer on the replay than it looked live.
But I'm with you. Gut instinct was out. That was the call on the field. And the previous play back in the 4th inning did not have sufficient evidence to overturn the call on the field. And if anything, I think that's where the area in which this play exists.
Ball enters the mitt right there. Is it in the back of the mitt? And it's also key, you see Sells, her foot is on top of the base, and this is always a great opportunity, right? You train yourself as a youngster front of the base. Just a couple of inches could be the difference.
This is Jim Bertuzzi.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner is out. Mississippi State has 1 challenge remaining.
So 1 away. Vasquez has retired, going back to the 5th inning. After the error that tied the game, her response has been excellent. She's retired 6 in a row. Credit to Mia Zabat as well, as errors can certainly wreak havoc on your mental state. So this is down the right field line and caught by Hannah Ferguson on the run. That now 3 of those succeeding 7 outs after the error on the ball to shortstop have been 6-3 putouts.
Look, we're trying to start rallies any way that we can. We've got the rally hat standing on top of the bleachers.
I'm just dazzled by the hair. Golden locks. Ball 1 to Morgan Bernardini.
Probably a sister of someone. There's the real star of the show.
And this gentleman as well, who, with baby in left hand, caught a foul ball, full extension in his right hand. And we have since come to learn, thanks to Ryan Barnett, the communications contact for St. Mary's, that gentleman is the husband of St. Mary's athletic trainer.
Ready to go. And now you're famous.
(2-0) from Odie Vasquez.
I think it's worth noting that Vasquez has been so dominant in this game without a changeup. I have not seen one off-speed pitch in this game.
She's allowed 1 hit, and now make it 2 as that total doubles on a line drive to right field by Bernardini. And the ball rolls away. The throw came in and eluded two different St. Mary's defenders. It bounced away from the first baseman, Taylor Lane. It spun to the left of Odie Vasquez, and the winning run is in scoring position for the Bulldogs.
You can see the disappointment on the face of Hannah Ferguson. Gets this ball in and just gets away from Taylor Lane, the first baseman. Defense has been really good at times for St. Mary's in this game, right? We've seen the catch of the game, Tori Cervantes, deep center field, but we've also seen two very costly errors. So that ball is not going to really show up in the scorebook, but I tell you what, if you're Mississippi State right now, the urgency is now. That is a gift we are getting our teammate home from second base in scoring position.
Pinch runner is Kalani Sells. And for the first time at the plate tonight, it's Abby Grace Richardson. She came in as a pinch runner back in the 5th, got stranded at 3rd, and a base hit could win it for Mississippi State. 2-2 bottom 7. Richardson, the second-year transfer from junior college. Takes a hack at the 1-1 and blasts it away. Mississippi native who grew up just about 3 hours from Starkville. And in her time in junior college, had plenty of moments like this. 2 years at JUCO, 2 trips to the Junior College World Series. Vasquez a strike away from an 8th inning. Up and in, and that got the hands, or at least the forearm, of Richardson. Now, her being on base is not all that significant, given that all it takes is the winning run at second, but it does make the heart race a little bit faster for everybody in blue, red, and white.
Yeah, that doesn't feel good for Vasquez, but I tell you what, on defense, I'm okay with this. Easier out, force out. My infielders can maybe play a little deeper.
Strategy session on both sides. Sonia Garnett talking to the infield. 2-2 game. St. Mary's, a 2-run home run from Sam Buckley in the first, took a 2-0 lead. Odie Vasquez right there in the middle. Did not allow a hit against the first 11 batters. Nadia Barbary got Mississippi State on the board with a solo shot in the 4th. And then a walk. 2 batters later, a grounder to short. That got by Mia Zabat all the way to the wall, tied the game. That's where we stand here in the bottom of the 7th inning in the opening game of the Eugene Regional. St. Mary's, champions of the West Coast Conference, and Mississippi State out of the SEC, all even at 2. Winner of this game goes on to face the winner of game 2 tonight. And that'll be between the Oregon Ducks and the Idaho State Bengals. Scheduled to start in 9 minutes. That's not going to be the case. About 30 minutes in between games. So Des Rivera, who went to the World Series as a freshman back in 2022, has a chance to put her experience to good use here. Most experienced postseason player on the Bulldogs roster. Mackenzie, you talked about it a couple minutes ago with a pinch hitter. But the question for me remains the same. How much do you worry about scouting report here, and how much with 2 outs and knowing that you're 1 out away from going to extras? Are you just trying to get your best stuff in there?
Best stuff. We've seen a lot of that outside curveball the second half of this game from Vasquez. The first half of this game, it was all about the low rise. the backdoor curve, working that arm side into the right-handed hitters in this lineup for Mississippi State. 8 out of 9 right-handed. And so second time, third time through the lineup, Vasquez has now worked the outer half.
Cody Vasquez a strike away from escaping danger again. Kalani Sells, she's the winning run at second. Two, and Rivera thought about it. The count is full. Words of encouragement from the freshman catcher De La Rosa to Vasquez in the circle. 3-2, and it's a foul ball.
I love the idea going in tight. Four straight pitches on the outer half, and especially the pitch prior to that foul ball, you could see Rivera was leaning over, and so Vasquez goes in. I would go back out away.
Payoff pitch, popped up. Cardinelli makes the grab, and the Gales survive a defensive mistake. They strand 2 Bulldogs, and it's extra innings in Eugene. No math, but 2 is a simple number. It was a 2-run homer for Sam Buckley in the first inning to put St. Mary's on the board. Their pitcher, Odie Vasquez, retired the first 11 batters, but 12 was a barbaric blast from Nadia Barbary, made it 2-1. In the 5th, she issued a leadoff walk, and then what was a routine ground ball got right through the legs on Mia Zabat, the shortstop, and Kenley Keller scored all the way from first base. That tied the game at 2. So that brings us to where we are now. The 8th inning. It's extras for St. Mary's and Mississippi State. A total of 6 hits between these two teams. Plenty of strikeouts and plenty of nerves here for these teams, each looking to start off 1-0. And for St. Mary's, hoping to win their first NCAA tournament game ever.
For St. Mary's, it's been Odie Vasquez every pitch, every step of the way, and Mississippi State making the move with the starter, Peja Gold, throwing very well, just giving up that one hit that we saw in the first there, and then bringing in Alyssa Fairclough.
It's a very interesting spot right now because you have the SEC Newcomer of the Year in the circle, a strikeout wizard, and yet Mississippi State also, as a team this year, has struggled to produce runs. So what will the breakthrough be? St. Mary's a record season this year. Buckley goes down, one away. With 40 wins is a program record. Their previous high was 30. They won 15 of their 18 conference games, had their longest winning streak ever at 12 games, and also reached their best number in the RPI. So not surprisingly, winning 15 of 18 in the league, they won every conference series for the first time. Kiara Vasquez with one out. Kaya Silva here for St. Mary's in the 4 spot. And she takes the walk. Every free pass today, Camille Lara had 2, and now Silva here in the 8th. They sprint to first base. There is no shortage of urgency here.
This is a fast team. And they've stolen 73 bases this season. And kind of a unique pinch hit there for Silva, batting for the 4 spot, and Braxton Brown, a little bit more of a power hitter. I also think Alyssa Faircloth is a left-handed pitcher, and you're pinch hitting a lefty. You don't see that very much, but I think it just speaks to where we're at in this game. Coach Garnett and St. Mary's looking for some speed, looking for some small ball.
Cudinelli looking for the long ball with those first 2 swings. Silva at first 2 for 3 in stolen base tries this year. Cudinelli stays alive. If there's ever a spot to roll the dice, though, this feels like it could be it.
I think we're just checking the balls here because the last couple of foul balls from Cudinelli have been off of the end of the bat against that changeup that Alyssa Faircloth throws, and so can cut up the ball a little bit.
So what's the downside to that?
Well, the umpires always just want to make sure that the ball doesn't have any cuts in it. As a pitcher, it's actually an advantage when there's a little cut in the ball. So I was always like, man, are you sure? Give it back to me.
These were great. I love these.
I know, it's great. Let me cut that ball a little bit more. The key, though, is to make sure that when balls are being thrown in that they have, you know, they've been scuffed up perfectly. You don't want to be pitching with a new ball.
Been a well umpired game. Cudinelli chases upstairs. She's down swinging, 2 away. 11 strikeout for Mississippi State pitching. 9 for Peja Gold and 2 for Alyssa Faircloth out of the bullpen.
Well, one theme on both sides offensively has been unproductive outs. There have been runners on for both sides. Every time a runner is on, though, there's no productive right side ground balls or sacrifice bunts.
That's way inside, and De La Rosa didn't have to worry about taking a hack at it. She's over to first. So as Mississippi State had a go-ahead run and a winning run at second base in the bottom of the 7th inning, St. Mary's threatens with a runner in scoring position for Tori Cervantes. Who can break the tie? The drop from Faircloth on those pitches is like the Tower of Terror. 1 second, you're way up in the sky, and the next, you're down in the basement. 0-2, slow roller. This will be close at first, and the throw is in time. And there's no way St. Mary's doesn't challenge that one. They've got one challenge left. And I think she was safe.
You have to challenge this. You just do. You would have the bases loaded.
The ruling of out at first base is being challenged by St. Mary's. This play is under further review.
Gut instinct for you is what?
Safe.
Yeah, same. Slow roller, shortstop. Cervantes, the center fielder. Good speed going up the line. Does she get the front of the bag? Oh.
I'm telling you, where you land on first base is so key. You've got to touch the front of the base. It will be the difference. And it's so interesting that this is the second review in the exact same fashion to this same hitter, Tori Cervantes.
Happened to her in the 4th inning. It was also a ground ball to the left side of the infield.
I think this will be upheld. If her foot was 5 inches back, she's safe. But she touches the top of that double first base. I remember in 10U running our first base line drills and coaches harping on you, front of the base, front of the base. Okay, yeah. Well, turns out they knew something. I've had 3 reviews and they've all been the exact same play.
Bang bang plays at first base. Cervantes in the 4th inning. And it'll be bases loaded and 2 out, or we'll be going to the bottom of the 8th inning. So a big call, the biggest one yet.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. The runner's out. That's St. Mary's last challenge.
So St. Mary's in 8 trips to the plate has scored twice, stranded 8. It's back to the Bulldogs. We start with 64 teams. It'll be down to just 16 at 8 sites around the country next week on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. It's time to rock and roll here at the bottom of the 8th inning. This gentleman has been partying out in center field from before first pitch. Perpetual motion machine. And has a snack whenever he's ready for it. A healthy one at that. My cousins Kenzie Fowler and Broccoli Guy with you here in Eugene, Oregon.
Well, we have the young one in the bottom of our shot there going, what is going on? I haven't seen this before. I'm new here. Is this normal?
Takes all kinds.
She's like, is that edible? Is that a snack for me?
Can I get that in a juice pouch form?
Exactly.
Don't sleep on those. Those are good snacks.
We might need one after this game.
So bottom 8, after a replay review, denied St. Mary's a bases loaded situation on an out at first base. Odie Vasquez against Greta Grasso in the 9 spot. 9-1-2 coming up here for Mississippi State, which has 2 runs on 2 hits and has thrived off of 2 St. Mary's errors, the second of which allowed them to tie the game in the 5th. You've noted it a couple times, Kenzie, no changeup from Odie Vasquez. So what has she done now is she's completing her 3rd time through this Mississippi State lineup that has still kept these hitters off balance, as she's allowed only 2 hits and struck out 6. This is a fly ball left field. Lara retreating, warning track, and she brings it in. She was in, maybe didn't get the best beat on it, but she recovered well.
Lara was playing very shallow. I mean, look where she's playing in left field, and she has to turn and perfectly drop step this. This is what you practice as well. You drop step and you tuck your glove and you run and you run and you run. And then the last second you extend your arm. Just showing us her speed.
Ground ball through the left side. It's a base hit for Morgan Stiles. Leadoff hitter is hitless no more. Chasing early. And just the 4th hit of the night, or the 3rd hit of the night for Mississippi State. Homer for Barbary in the 4th. 2-out single for Bernardini last inning in the 7th. And a potential winning run is at first base. It'll be a pinch runner for the Bulldogs. Gabby Schaefer takes over at first. The reason that Samantha Ricketts put Ziane Romero up as high as she did in the lineup today after hitting her 3rd the last couple of weekends of the season was because of how hot her bat has been. 10 games preceding this one, hitting .346. She's driven in 16 runs this year, and half of them came in that 10-game span. Tonight, 2 flyouts to right and a strikeout.
There's been a lot of pieces for this Bulldog offense that maybe if you watched this team back in February or in March, maybe weren't in the lineup, have found their way and hit their way into the lineup in the second half of the season. And Romero is one of those pieces.
Romero battled injury early this year too. She partially tore her ulnar collateral ligament, the UCL, the first weekend of the season. She wore a brace for 3 weeks. That was it. And then told the coaches, I'm good to go, I'm ready. I feel like she's back to where she should be this time of year. Protecting on a 2-strike pitch.
kind of a unique stance, very closed off. And Vasquez is giving her multiple looks on the outer half. If I am a pitcher and I see a hitter with a closed off stance, I'm going to go in tight. Jam her up a little bit, front foot. You can see it in front of her right foot.
Chance for a ground ball to get you out of the inning. Fly ball deep to right, and it has caught at the wall. Hannah Ferguson with no room to spare. And for the second time today, Mississippi State has come within 24 inches of hitting a home run.
Man, between our multiple video reviews at first base that have been decided by inches, and then a couple of outs, loud outs up against the wall. Hannah Ferguson, this outfield for St. Mary's is very speedy. There is a ton of speed out there between Lara and Cervantes and Ferguson. I mean, this is a team that has stolen over 70 bases, so of course you're going to see it, but they're showing us that speed defensively, covering so much ground.
In the 7th inning, runner at second, chance to walk it off. Mississippi State did not get the job done. They have an opportunity again here with Nadia Barbary, who gave them life in the 4th inning. Odie Vasquez came bursting out of the gates, retired the first 11 batters, and in a 2-strike count against Barbary, came inside, hit her with an open stance, was looking for exactly that. Home run number 13 of the year. It seemed to release some of the tension there for Mississippi State and say, yeah, we can get to this pitcher.
As you can see the strategy on both sides. Everyone's having their timeouts because this is the hitter. In her last at bat, Barbary grounded out to second base, and of course we saw that inside pitch. It was hit for the home run, so Vasquez came back in that next at bat and said, I'm going to make you beat me on the outer half. I would be very surprised if we see anything on the inner half. I'm expecting every pitch to be away.
First to Barbary, exactly that, well outside.
And she was ready to go because she almost swung at a pitch that was a couple of balls off. So the secret is out. She knows where Vasquez is pitching. Vasquez knows where she's pitching.
Bulldogs have not delivered today with runners on base. 0 for 6. And a 2-0 count. To Barbary, Gabby Schaefer. Pinch runner came in for Morgan Stiles, who came through with a 1-out single. Represents the winning run for the Bulldogs. Only their 3rd extra inning game of the season. This is shallow right. Ferguson, good speed, can't get it. Here comes Schaefer around 3rd, and Mississippi State wins in 8 innings. A Barbary bloop and a 3-2 final score. And defense defined the day, not in the way that St. Mary's wanted it to happen.
Yeah, and there were some points in this game where St. Mary's defensively was showing us so much good, right? The catches against the fence, and of course Vasquez in the circle getting it done pitch after pitch. But defense is also what allowed Mississippi State to get back into this game. It was an error at shortstop, and then there was another throw later, and then the ball that maybe you just got to keep in front here. And this is just so heartbreaking for Vasquez. This is a hitter that took you deep back in the 4th, and so you know the power. Everyone knows the power that Nadia Barbary has, and it's why Hannah Ferguson was playing very deep. And this is a ball that you either have to lay out for, or you need to sit back and take it on the hop, play it cleanly, get it in as quickly as you can. But it's that in-between hop, the ball gets away, and Mississippi State playing the long game, getting the dub.
Mississippi State had 1 hit through 6 innings. And if you were to say, all right, take your pick, who's a team that wins with 1 hit through 6? It wouldn't be that team, but it is Mississippi State, and they move on. Our next game was scheduled to start 17 minutes ago. It'll be about 30 minutes until Idaho State and Oregon take the field here at Jane Sanders Stadium. And the winner of that game will take on Mississippi State tomorrow at 5 Eastern. Nadia Barbary had the walk-off single here in the 8th inning. Nadia, first of all, congratulations on advancing to the winner's bracket here in Eugene. You came up in the 4th inning. Let's talk about that at bat first. Nobody had gotten on base yet. You had 2 strikes against you, pitch on the inner half of the plate. What were you looking for in that moment?
I was looking in from my previous at bat. She jammed me, so I knew that, you know, they're probably going to go in again, hoping to get jammed. And I was up ahead. I was 2-0, and I swung at it inside. I was a little bit early, so I was sitting on it again, and I crushed it.
Well, Nadia, this was a pitcher's duel. We kind of knew that it would be, but what were the conversations in the dugout as this game went into extra innings?
Just to keep it light, you know, just make sure we get our 8 cuts off, and the game will come to us, and don't put the pressure on ourselves. The pressure's on them to get us out.
Nadia, what is it like to have Peja Gould and Alyssa Faircloth in the circle for you, giving your team a chance to win anytime you're in this ball game?
It's amazing. You know, it gives the offense some time, you know, to relax, but knowing that we need to have their back because they have ours all the time. And, you know, they always, not always, but likely have a pitcher's duel. And, you know, as an offense, we need to provide for them so that they don't have to deal with that pressure.
And Nadia, before we let you go, it was very clear there in that at bat, she was trying to pitch you away. So the ball comes off of your bat. What did you think when it was going to shallow right field?
I was a little nervous. It was higher than what I wanted it to be. I was just trying to poke it. But Gabby's a fast runner. She can score from first anytime, any day. So just knowing if that gets down, Gabby's going to score.
She did. You guys win. We'll see you tomorrow in the winner's bracket.
Thank you, guys. Hail State.
It's Nadia Barbary who had the game-ending base hit to right field to give Mississippi State the win over St. Mary's. Our next game will be between Idaho State and Oregon. First pitch will be 10:52 Eastern Time, 7:52 Pacific. For our crew, Kenzie Fowler, I'm Mike Cousins saying so long for now and see you a little bit. I'm here at Jane Sanders Stadium.